Andrew, why is your truck so loud?
I don't know, man.
This is only like the third time you've ever driven it.
Yeah.
It's been over here ever since he got it, I swear.
Been gone.
Yeah.
Literally got it and went out of town for a week.
Andrew is going to be draining the 93 out, putting some E85 in. Andrew, you got a little race tonight, don't you?
Yeah.
What you racing tonight?
Whippled 5th gen Camaro.
Whippled 5th gen Camaro. You think the Lightning can handle it?
We think we're gonna find out. I don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know. So basically, the car in question here is a friend of ours, and it's a pretty nasty car.
Yeah, it's fast.
But yeah, it's fast. But anyway, we're gonna see what this Lightning can do. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. We're not gonna make this video about this tonight, just simply because I want to dedicate a whole video to it. So a lot of you guys can probably already guess what it is that we're looking at here. Now, what we've done is we've got a string from the front of the car, roughly the center of gravity, the center of the strut here, to the back of the tire. And this is that imaginary line, essentially, that you see people talk about whenever you're talking about anti-squat. I wanted to do like a visual representation on an actual car for you guys so that you can see. I've had a lot of people ask, you know, are you going to adjust for anti-squat? Well, yes, we actually are. But with that being said, the Team Z uppers that we have on this car pretty much already address that for you. They get you above this line, if you will. I'll take you guys under here in just a second so I can show you. But I wanted to put this string up here just to show you. Now, we don't know the exact center of gravity of this car and all that, guys. So don't get too technical with me on this. And I'm not a suspension guru. I've just been watching some videos just like a lot of you do. But anyway, I'm going to take you under here and we're going to look at this real quick. And I think you guys will agree with me. Looks like we're going to be above the anti-squat line, if you will, or the neutral line. So we should actually get some separation on this back tire. Also, we got Seth headed over tonight. Seth got a new car, so I just looked at that. That line droops. But yeah, we're just gonna honestly just kind of hang out more tonight than anything. Let Andrew get his truck in order. But let me get you guys under here. Let me get a light, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, before we get started, and before we go too far with this, guys, I know that this isn't the correct way to do things and you have to take measurements, but for us, all we're trying to do is just kind of verify that we are not going to be squatting the car and basically pushing the tires up into the fender well. That's really all we're trying to do here. We're not trying to get precise, you know, with percentages and stuff like that. So with that being said, let me show you guys what we got here. So there's our lower control arm. Looks fairly level for the most part, right? So now let's look at the direction and the angle of the uppers. Let's see if I can get you right here. All right, how about right here? So what we're looking for is, this is the mounting point for the lower control arm, and here's your angle, right? Now look at the angle of this upper control arm. It is essentially like this. Okay, that's the angle. So if you draw that imaginary line, look at where we're at. Guys, we're somewhere right about here where everything comes together at. Kind of, anyway. It's hard to say for sure. But let's say it is right here. Let's look at this line. Can you guys still see the imaginary line down here? What I think is we're going to be above it. So we're looking pretty good under here for the most part. So we're just going to have to guess at this. And I did order some drop brackets for the lower control arm today, so we're going to install those and get a little bit more angle on this lower control arm to really tighten this up. But this is the thing, the way the Team Z is made up here, the angle that your upper control arm is at, that's drastic. Guys, you can't really see it, but that's a pretty drastic change right there. So anyway, my point is, it really angles down at a sharp curve. So the angle of the lower is probably not going to be as important because the angle of the upper is so steep. Anyway, with that being said, let's go down here and talk a little bit about these rear shocks. Now, I've had a lot of guys ask, what spring rate are you running? Well, we're running a 125 in the rear, and these are a single adjustable shock. We have our perches that we can raise up and down. Now with a car that has anti-squat, so anything above that anti-squat line, that neutral line, if you're in the positive, meaning the car is going to lift when you take off, you actually want a softer spring that's going to store more energy. So the softer spring, as the car sits down on top of it, will actually store a lot of energy. So when you leave, it helps push the shock up. Totally different than like traditional thinking. A lot of times, you know, years ago, everybody used to say, you know, you want your car to squat to make it hook. Nowadays, it doesn't really work that way. So you really want these lighter spring rates like this so that it will compress with the weight of the car and then release that stored energy. So with that being said, the install height of your shock becomes an issue. So we're probably going to, we'll have to raise this up probably a couple holes here to make sure that we don't have too much extension on the shock. Right now, we've probably got about 3 inches of travel, which is not good because I don't know what travel these things have, but we need to tighten that up a little bit so that when we do take off, the shock can release itself and not overextend. So we'll get into all that later on. So with all that being said, I'm fully aware that you can't really do it this way. This isn't the correct way. But what you guys got to remember is I try to find budget ways of doing things, right? And if we can take a string, an actual string, and we can do this, and we can give ourselves an idea of where we're at before we go out there, then we kind of know how to set our suspension up. If we're going to be way down below this line, essentially, this imaginary line, which it's sagging now, but if we're going to be below that, then that means we need to set our suspension up completely different. But I think we're going to be above it, so the way we got the suspension set up right now should be a good starting point for us. This car doesn't make that much power, so it's not really going to matter. This car is going to hook at the track regardless, more than likely anyway. I've got to give all the credit to that Team Z upper kit. Man, that thing just really repositions that upper control arm at more of an angle like this rather than like that. You think about that imaginary line, that's a long line, right? That line's going to extend way out there. But Team Z decided to do this. Now it puts that imaginary line down here. So you can triangulate this a lot closer to the tire. Anyway, so I probably won't include half of what I just said in the video just because I rambled. Ooh, look at that Mustang. But I want to come out here and show Andrew, what? Andrew done messed my concrete up.
What?
Look at that.
All the dirt that was on it the other day, it was like a mud pile on it.
Yeah, but it was my dirt that I put on
That's
there.
still your dirt, it just came off my tire.
Well, then my tires then. Seth, what did you buy something? You finally buy a Ford?
Kinda, you know. Andrew thinks he's gonna gap the Trans Am, so I figured it'd be funner to gap him in his own car. See, there he goes talking again.
Oh, let's see what we got here.
Fellow Ford Mustang owner in training here.
Yeah,
Reporting
so
duty.
yeah, exactly. So this is Seth's first Mustang?
Yes.
Yeah. Is this your first Ford?
Yep. First.
Holy
Ford.
crap.
It had 18 miles on it when I picked it up.
18 miles. Man, this thing looks good.
It's getting wheels very soon.
Getting wheels very soon, he
We gotta
says.
get rid of these base models.
Base.
It's also
Now, Seth, did you buy a base model?
hell no.
Base models are slower.
Exactly. And you can't get digital gauges with base models.
I like this. Ooh, it smells good. All right, so let's see. Yeah, look at that. Well, I'm not going to buy one, so, you know, sorry guys. We're not buying one, but we will drive Seth's. We'll have more content with this car here pretty soon. And, oh yeah, look at that. So we'll have more content with this thing coming pretty soon. We'll try it out with, well, Andrew's car probably at some point. On motor, of course.
I got to race Hunter as well.
Yeah, got to race Hunter.
That car don't run on motor.
I don't know. We'll
Afraid to
probably run it against the Lightning, my Lightning anyway, which I'll get beat. But hey, it's worth it, right? We'll go out there and try it. Against the Suburban.
I think it'll be a good race with my truck on 93.
Yeah. What you talking about?
You got a shorter funnel anywhere?
This is
A shorter
Andrew's
funnel. I got a
longer than
red
Monday,
one
man.
right there. Fool.
Well, you ain't got to haul it.
This is partly Andrew's fault why I went out and bought the car too.
You got to have money on your credit.
So Seth goes to Texas 2K, buys a shirt and a damn Mustang. Ain't this some shit?
I'm
So-
converting one person at a time.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he's going to be converted. He's going to be converted. Well, he don't have to be converted. He just needs to appreciate one and always own one. From here on out, you're obligated to always at least own one.
See, I'm neutral now. I have
Yeah.
a WS6. I have like the Holy Grail GM car. Everybody loves F-bodies.
I
Now
thought that
got
was a
Coyote
Grand
car.
National.
Yeah, but those are too expensive.
Did you already get your E85?
Huh?
You already get your E85?
No, I'm just gonna put that in it. And I'm gonna take my other truck to the gas station.
Oh, okay. Anyway, like I said, more content coming with this, guys. I'd love to do a video where I take a phone call from an expert, somebody that does this for a living, to where we can do a phone call, we can video it, and then we can talk about this type of stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.